If someone had told me how this would end, I would have gone to that training anyway. Just would have picked a different coffee. When I got the job at the new company, I had no plans beyond quietly working and getting paid. No flings, no drama, just coffee and the Friday memes in the group chat. But then came that training. They gathered employees from several branches and brought us to some countryside facility. Name tags, notebooks, schedules. I wasn't looking to meet anyone, just trying not to drown in the wave of new faces. On the second day, I noticed him, Alex Corner, head of strategic growth. He spoke clearly, confidently but without arrogance. A little stubble, shirt without a tie, calm voice with a slight rasp. And that look, like he knew everything about you, but wasn't in a rush to tell you. He didn't dominate. He just was, and everyone's attention quietly gravitated toward him. He made a joke during the group circle. It landed perfectly. The room laughed, and I caught myself watching him a little too long. Later, during a team task, he ended up in our group. I mumbled a small joke. He laughed and said, "You've got delicious irony in your voice," then walked on. But I stayed there, holding that phrase like it meant something more. During the coffee break, he came over. "No cream left. Guess we'll drink it like adults," I smiled. We started talking. Effortless. No pressure. On day 4, I stayed after a group session to finish some notes. He stood by the window watching the afternoon light. Then came over, sat beside me, and gently ran a finger down my arm. "You freeze in this cute way when you're thinking," he said out of nowhere. I didn't know that. He leaned closer, brushed a strand of hair from my face. "Better." He smiled, then got up and left. He didn't come on to me. He just made it feel like something had already started. The next day, we sat together during a lecture. I caught his gaze. He always seemed to know the exact moment to turn. At coffee break, he handed me a cup. No sugar. With cinnamon. I blinked. "I just know," he said with a half smile. At the farewell dinner, he was beside me again. Almost like a coincidence. We laughed, drank wine, stepped outside. He offered a cigarette. "I'm not really about serious things," he said. "But with you, it feels calm." He held my hand. Just for a moment, like checking if I was still there. "You wear a little unhinged really well." I looked at him. Giggled nervously. I didn't know what to say, and apparently he liked that too. When we parted, he lightly wrapped his arm around my shoulders. No words. Like he left a mark. "It's calm with you, like, I don't have to pretend. You get it, right?" And me, the fool, I thought I did. That he wasn't a coincidence. That if it weren't for the distance between our cities, I went home but something stayed there. With him. The weight of his hands on my shoulders. I felt it for at least a week. We didn't text, but I waited. For meetings, messages, hints, and one day his team came to our branch with a presentation. And he was there again. Joking just the same. Looking just the same. And yes, he brought me coffee again, no sugar. With cinnamon, he remembered. Even after 2 months. Later, when they came again, he spotted me and walked over. "Don't you miss our coffee?" "I miss everything," I replied. He didn't say anything, just winked. That night, I submitted my transfer request. Officially, career advancement. Unofficially, ma'am, I wanted to be closer. As I filled out the paperwork, my mind spun with his touch, his voice, his eyes. I imagined us working in the same building, running into each other at the cafeteria. He'd be surprised, maybe even say, "You're really here? For good?" And I'd just nod, and he'd understand. When I arrived at the new office, my heart was pounding. He was standing at reception, smiled. "You ran away to us?" "Well, the coffee's better here. Good to see you," he said, short, polite. Nothing more. I dove into work. At first, it felt almost magical. He'd swing by my department, brush my shoulder, hold a gaze a bit too long. I thought, we're just waiting for the distance to disappear. But then I started noticing things. He laughed with an HR girl in the elevator. Leaned a little too close to someone in marketing. Those looks, they weren't for me anymore, but for the redhead. Whispers to one. Lunch with another. Loud laughter. Turns out there were many versions of me in his life. I just hadn't seen it before. Or didn't want to. Later at a corporate party, someone said, "Corner? He knows how to be the one you're waiting for. He just doesn't stick around." It was almost funny. Almost. Today, I passed by reception and saw a new girl. White shirt, eyes full of hope and nerves. He was already beside her. Already leaning in. Already telling her something. I walked by. Didn't even nod. Some men are just a masterclass in self-deception. And maybe this branch is more strategic than the last. But emotionally, it's been bankrupt for a while now. Maybe that's adult love. When the only thing left is a promotion.